I think there's a lot of little moments and big moments that have impacted me the most. I think one of the coolest stories that I've had, or like the coolest journeys I've had with the foundation has been working with Tina, one of our current foundation staff. So Frances and I met Tina when she was just like a teenager, back before we even started the foundation. And she was actually a part of those conversations that we had about us starting to dream of doing our own thing. I met her back in 2012, so my second summer in Ghana, and that's when Frances had met her too. And Tina's mom was very close with us. She was the mother of a children's home, and after my first summer with her, her mom passed away from cancer. And I remember Frances and I, both having a very good relationship with her, had kind of made a promise to her that we would do what we could to, take care of the kids who were there and take care of her kids and make sure that they continued on the path that Mama Peace, her mom, had really dreamed for them and worked really hard for. And so Tina has always been kind of taken under our wing along our journey. And so we helped get Tina through high school. She worked really hard and made it through high school. And then we had kind of talked to her after what her next goal was. And she ended up studying through the foundation. At that point, the foundation had started. So we were able to sponsor her to study at one of the top culinary schools in Ghana, in the capital, in Accra. And so, so Tina was able to study through the support of people who helped the foundation. And now we call her our head chef because she's more than just a cook. So now she's in charge of cooking for all the volunteers. And then she also, helps monitor our projects and programs, and just the opportunity to walk alongside somebody through that and see when you really do have a relationship and when you really do take the time to invest in somebody's dreams and watching them grow. Now it's been 5 years, almost 6 years, has been really, really cool. And I think Tina will be with us for life. So I think that'll be a continued inspiration for the rest of my life. Okay. We had continued working with that children's home, and it was like a children's home in school. So the bakeries was completed, and that was an opportunity for financial income for the mother of the home and also for the kids at the home to learn a trade. They often helped with baking, and it was really cool. They would make the bread while we were there, and we would get to eat it. So that was project one at that home, and that was in Swedro. And then at that same place, we had talked to them about, what's next? What are you guys looking at moving forward now that we've done this with you? And they decided they wanted to expand the school that they had. So they had been really lucky and had really good connections and had somebody build a beautiful school for them on site. So many people had wanted to go to their school and have those opportunities, and they just didn't have any more classroom space. At least 200 students. I think it might have been closer to 400. We did a school expansion for them and were able to construct an additional 2 classrooms. So that opened up space for more of the kids in the rural villages to come in, or for them to offer boarding opportunities and take more kids into the children's home. And so after that one, we went to Senya. Oh, this is in terms of children's homes too, because our projects aren't just children's homes and schools, but we had done a project at another children's home and helped with a school expansion for them. But it ended up being a pretty similar situation, actually. There was a soccer player from their town who had connected to a foundation, and so about a year after we started working with them and kind of investing in a new school for them, the foundation had come in and kind of pledged support towards that, and so we transitioned out of there. But a lot of our focus is on school and education, just because of how important it is for a lot of the kids in rural areas to have empowering environments, safe classrooms. And in this school, before we had started ours for them, they were going to school in a school that had really bad infrastructure. So there were storms. I remember one day, and we got a call from the founder that it had completely destroyed a quarter of the school. So there was, ruined desks and the roof tins that were just little aluminum roof tins on the roof they were all over the floor, and some of the walls were bamboo. And so just making sure that we help provide infrastructure is super important, so that the kids aren't out of school for weeks while they're fixing it, or they're not as distracted by the outside because there's better walls. So that was in Senya. And then we moved to our current location, which is, I was about to say our old one, which is, our current location is Akumanyi. And that is with Mama Charity at another children's home and school. And so we've been with her for almost 2 years. And so she has about 100 kids at her children's home. And then she has an additional, give or take, 100 kids from the village who are attending her school. And so Mama Charity has just a heart of gold and has really tried really hard to help the kids in the community, but just doesn't have really much connections in terms of funding sources and outside support. So we came in and talked to her about what her needs were, and the big thing was a school. Because with social welfare's new guidelines, you can't have the school on the same property as the children's home, which is great because they're trying to protect the rights of the kids. So she really needed to get the school off the property. And so we've been working on building her a completely new primary school. And so we're about halfway done with that so that she can keep the children's home open, take care of them, and then have the school kids separated in a different private space and keep running the school. So those are all the projects focused on children's homes and schools. And then we also have our other projects, which we have our Women's Empowerment Project, which is we have about 20 women enrolled in a sewing program. It's a seamstress program, so girls from rural villages who couldn't complete junior high school or go to high school and have an interest in starting their own business can come to us and enroll in our program, and they train for 3 years with an already established Ghanaian seamstress in their town and learn the trade of sewing with the goal of after being able to open up their own business. So that started in 2015, and so we just had our first round of graduates graduate this past year. So we had some graduate, I think, back in December, and then we just had 2 more graduate about a month ago, which was really exciting to see the program finally come full circle. And now we have items that they make, and they don't just sell in Ghana, but they sell here, and so we're able to get them some sustainable income to help support themselves. So that's a continuous program that continues growing and expanding as we keep investing in it and learning ways that we can help them. And then the last major projects we've been involved with have been health-focused. So we worked in a rural village called Penim it started because a nonprofit focused on the global water crisis came to us in Columbus after I had spoken at Ohio State one time, and they had asked if there was any work they could do. And so after meeting with various villages that we thought might be potential candidates, we had found Penim. And they really needed a sustainable, reliable source of clean water because they were getting most of their water from the river. And when we had tested the river water, it had worms. And so it's not that they were always getting sick, but it was a potential cause of sickness. And so we were able to come in with a nonprofit and their expertise of clean water and kind of my public health background in community public health. And so we worked with the community to bring a clean water system for them that they thought was suitable for them and that would work for them. And so it's run by women in the village. And so about a year after that was completed, we asked them, what's next? Because our goal isn't just to do a project and leave. It's to really have a relationship with the community until, they don't need us anymore. So then the next issue was more hygiene and sanitation related, and it was, they didn't have any toilets in the community. And so for a village of over 400 people, that's a huge health issue. And so we thought, if we're delivering clean water, that's only part of the solution. You have to look at the hygiene and sanitation area. And so we built community toilets last year. And so now we're kind of working with them on what's next right now to see where the relationship goes from here. Working in Ghana and in this line of work, I would be lying if I said you don't experience every single type of emotion. Sometimes it's really moving and you just are filled with gratitude and happiness and joy. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes maybe you're just overwhelmed by the fact that there are so many resources in this world and it's possible for everybody to have a more equal balance of a standard of living, but that's not the case. And so you're in some really poor areas and it is hard. Sometimes you do just want to cry. And then other times you also feel really frustrated. Frustrated that you can't get the resources that you want to help when you're collaborating with others, or frustrated because of cultural differences, or frustrated because things are coming up and you're trying to get this project through because it's going to make an impact and help somebody. But that's also a lesson in patience. So you really do experience just about everything. It's just that most people don't see all the behind the doors work that you put in. They really just see kind of what comes out in the pictures. So.
Right. And then for my final question, is there anything that I've asked you, or that I haven't asked you that I should have, that you would like to get out?
don't know. I guess
Something?
I don't think you really miss anything. I think I just want to make sure people really know that the foundation for Francis and I it's a passion, and it is something that we truly do for others. It's not something that we started for money. And then the last kind of major area is the university partnership. So if there's anybody kind of, or in like colleges or high schools who want to impact students and start branches or start like clubs, that's an area we really want to grow in, and so that'd be kind of an exciting area to be able to partner with people on. After the school, we had kind of transitioned out of that partner. They had a lot of other support, and so we just decided that it was our resources could best be used in a new place that maybe didn't have as many connections, and they had really grown to be pretty self-sustainable over the years. It was really cool to see, not just through our help alone, but through help that they had themselves and other connections. So it was just one of those times where you get to kind of smile and walk away and say, we've done our part, and you guys are in a great space, and so we're going to see where we can go next.